How's everybody doing tonight? What's going on? I'm gonna adjust this just a little bit. Make sure all my cameras are on. Alright, we're in business. What's going on, everybody? Let me get my coffee can O-rings here. We are working on a pretty big jelly cube tonight. It's going to be 12 by 12 by 12, and that's not 12 inches, it's 12 rows. And if you look at the edge, you'll see almost, actually, if you look at that edge, you'll be like, oh, that's 24 rows. But each row is comprised of 2 layers, so each one, each takes 2 layers to make a row. For 12 rows, you need 24 layers. Hope that makes sense. Anyway, so if you haven't seen this jelly cube in progress the last couple of days, I've been working on it for over a week now. There should be somewhere between 8,000 and 9,000 rings in it right now. I've got another 800 some rings to add before it's done. I won't get that all done tonight. I'll finish it up tomorrow, though. Tomorrow or this weekend. We'll see. But my name's Sean. I run MailWorks.com. I design and sell chainmail themed apparel, similar to what I'm wearing right now. This is a prototype. It's actually got chainmail print on the inside, scale mail on the outside. The original manufacturer didn't work out, but my new manufacturer, I believe, has the hoodies with the design inside and outside. So I will be designing some and getting hoodies back in the shop here pretty soon. So that's fun. Currently, I'm working on a bunch of projects, trying to finish up stuff in my basement. I'm working on this jelly cube as payment for some materials. And, yeah. Lots of projects to do. If you've never seen someone make chainmail in their basement before, and you want to learn how to do it, go to the link tree in my bio on my profile. And there's a link to the MailWorks app. It's available on Google and Apple. It's free, and it has all of the resources I would have wanted when I first got started 28 years ago. So, that's my... Oh, it also has a link to my store, of course. But you don't have to go to the store. You should. Chainmail doesn't go out of style. But, yeah, you can just download the app and use the resources for free. And then learn how to make cool stuff. Like big jelly cubes. Power to the basement mailers. For real. I've been working on this for probably a week. A little over a week now. I've got well over 40 hours into it. Hey, Wally, how you doing? All right. So, jelly cubes require a specific size of ring. And it's rings that have an aspect ratio of like 2.7 to 2.9. So the ring size, jelly cubes are very sensitive to the ring size. You make them too big, or you use rings that are too big, it'll just be loose. You use rings that are too small, it won't work at all. I'm doing pretty good, Wally. All right. So, you have to be careful which rings you select. If you Come on. I know what I'm doing. This goes in here. There, thank you. If you are interested in learning how to make a jelly cube, right, and want to use kind of small rings, decently sized but relatively easy to work with, these are 18 gauge 1/8 bright aluminum from chain-reaction.ca, right? The link to that is in the Mailworks app in the supplier section, and I got Wally over here on Facebook. I'm live on the Face app, the Video app, the Purple app, and the X app. And it's a different view if you want to go to any of those and check out what we're doing. But I do have comments from TikTok and from all those apps that so if it sounds like I'm like talking to myself or talking to someone who's not here, that's who I'm interacting with. But yeah, you can go to chain-reaction.ca. Wally makes wonderful rings. Very pretty rings. And he has a lot of anodized aluminum now too. So, as well as many other things that I haven't had the joy of working with yet. So, I've got 2 more layers to put on here. I'm about to finish up the second layer of the 11th row. And I have 2 more layers to complete the 12th row. And that will be... then we'll be done with this one. I've got... if you can see that right there, I've got to finish all this stuff on each side here too. So I got to order more rings for that one. And I got 100 other projects over here. They're projects that have been sitting around for far too long, unfinished. Projects that were finished, but they need to be redone because I'm better at what I do now than I once was. And they're projects that were, well, they are piles of rings that need to be woven into something. So not necessarily a designated project, but where can these fine people find a Jelly Cube starting tutorial? So in order to, if you want a tutorial for working on a Jelly Cube, the only one I know of is in the files section of the large chainmail group on Facebook. You started weaving your 6 gauge aluminum cube. It's 6 gauge. It's 4x4 while watching last night's stream. Jesus, dude. Oh my god, I can't even imagine trying to work with 6 gauge right now. So, if you download the Mailworks app and you go to the groups forums section, right, that's where all the chainmail people hang out. The large chainmail group on Facebook is in there, as well as a bunch of other groups related to chainmail. Rivet Mail, Chainmail Jewelry and more, chainmailers.com, and each group is has a different set of resources, different crowd that populates it. Don't forget March Madness is on right now, 50% off. Finally got caught up today, right on. So at chain-reaction.ca, you can get 15% off any of the rings that you order right now. Should send that out on the Mailworks app. I bet I can do that. That's what I should do. Anytime a manufacturer has a sale, just send out a push notification. I need to... if I had any money... well, no, I got taxes coming, so I'll have some money. I don't know if I'll get my tax... well, we'll see. It's the 14th. See if I can't get a ring order in before the end of the month. I just put about $1,000 worth of books into my Amazon cart, so I don't know how much money I'm going to have for a while. Probably not a lot. And these aren't necessarily books that I'm going to read right away. they are ones I want to have on hand. So I thought about just putting my whole Amazon wish list on my credit card, but I just paid off a lot on my credit card, and I don't want to add back to it. But it is tempting to just, you know, buy $1,000 worth of books and then another $1,000 in random stuff off of Amazon. I need to pay off all my credit cards and all my debt and get rid of it. All right. So, what else? There was something else. What else happened today? Something else happened today. Today? I need to start the practice of writing stuff down that happens to me, so that I can remember to talk about it during the day. Speaking of books, did I read the Armor book that I've talked about several times in the last 2 months? No, it's right here, right under the notice to pay my taxes. It's right here. I haven't read it yet. It's on my project bench for me to read. So. You can't read? No books? Yeah, I think I went on this tangent the other day. I can read. I can read ferociously. I can devour books like it's nobody's business. But with some book series not having endings, the last books not being written, authors dying or quitting before the books were done, some book series that I started, got into, and then it just ended up being trash. Game of Thrones. Between that and, like, after being forced to read a bunch of trash in college, my willingness to read is just paper thin. Right? I do try. Brandon Sanderson finished off the Wheel of Time books, and it made me want to scream the whole time I was reading the last, 2.5 books that he worked on. So, I don't think I've read anything since, seriously. But like I said, these aren't... I can completely understand not reading after the Sword of Truth series. Who writes that? Fucking, sorry, language. Terry Goodkind? Is that who wrote that? Whatever Terry Goodkind series was, that was trash. Alright. No, in my Amazon cart, I basically just put in there a bunch of books on economic theory. The Wheel of Time TV series was brutal. Yeah. I haven't watched the second season. I'm not going to. I watched the first season and I just got irritated. Right. I don't understand this mentality of, oh, we're going to take a series of books or a video game and then we're going to change it so that it reaches a broader audience when these books already have an audience. What's going on, Kevin? Right? We're not going to make the TV series or the live adaptation for the currently existing audience. We're going to make it for everyone. And then everyone's going to hate it. And, like, I want to say, okay, you know, I can understand that happening to a series once, like, because it happened to The Witcher. It happened in Rings of Power. It's happened to Wheel of Time. I understand it happening one time, but it's happened on multiple series now. And it's just, I don't know. I don't want to watch it. If it's garbage, it's garbage. I do, in the, not Rings of Power, in the Wheel of Time series, the TV show, right? There were some cool elements to it. But so much was deviated from the source material or presented in presented completely wrong, right? So the Aes Sedai's bodyguard, Lan, right? The guy with the hair tie around his forehead. He's supposed to be like this emotional, stoic rock throughout all the books. And in the first series, he's beating his chest and crying over one of his brothers dying, right? That, I was like, no, this is absurd. The buildings were beautiful. The way they represented the one power, that was cool. There were aspects of it that were good. It just wasn't enough aspects of it where I was like, yeah, okay. I'll watch it. It's entertaining. It wasn't entertaining. It was mind-blowingly aggravating. So, and I'm not any kind of authority. I don't speak for everyone. But, you know, just my opinion, man. Like, if you're going to do something like that, there is an audience that will eat it up if you make it right. You don't have to put your artistic expression into it. So, but yeah, Brandon Sanderson took over the Wheel of Time, and reading the last 2.5 of those books killed me. Game of Thrones, couldn't get through them, thought they were trash. TV show was trash. What else did I read? I've got it over there. It's a book, like where the gender roles are reversed. The men are like at home cooking, cleaning, and the women are out politicking, and they have the magic or whatever it was. It was really good. It was a lot of fun. And then the author was like, I'm not going to write the last book. That was another one that just killed me. Turn that down a little bit. Anyway, like sitting on a hot tin roof, yeah. Like the first time Lord of the Rings, Tom Bombadil's omitted entirely was a bit infuriating, but didn't ruin it. Yep. Speaking of Tom Bombadil and Lord of the Rings, there is, do I still have my Amazon pulled up? It's on my phone. Never mind. You'd be surprised how much that happens? Yeah. How you doing, Mountain Airsoft? There is a $500 Lord of the Rings and Hobbit trilogy Blu-ray set. Comes in a special case with a special shelf. It is in my Amazon cart right now. And it's one of those things that I was tempted to just buy everything on my wish list right at the moment. I'm doing all right. We're talking about not being able to read. For me, it was all the crap I had to read in college, and then being traumatized by authors that didn't finish the books or died, or authors took over and ruined it. And because I can be a voracious reader when I'm into reading a book, but haven't been for one reason or another. So, feel the same way? Yeah. Yup. I think a lot of people do, right? Which, it's things like Rings of Power, Wheel of Time, and what was the other? The Witcher, right? I think The Witcher probably appealed to the bulk of its video game and book audience, for the first two series. And with the change of The Witcher from Henry to the Thor's brother, I don't even know his name. I think it's going to appeal to less of its video game and book audience, right? And I think that my theory is that Rings of Power and Rings of Power and Wheel of Time only have an audience that exists outside of the people that read the book. That's my theory, because they don't have a reference point for why it would be considered good or bad, right? Have I posted jelly cube pattern anywhere? You made a Japanese 8-in-1, but it doesn't jelly. Oh, I'm sorry. So the only pattern I know of is, I've been telling people that it's in the files section of the large chainmail group over on Facebook. I'm only 70% certain that it's there. I need to go double check that. But there is a tutorial that exists, and I do believe that it is in the files section of the large group Chainmail on Facebook. That is the only tutorial I'm aware of. I don't think anyone's made a video of it. It's one of those things. Witcher needs his male pauldrons, yeah. Did he lose them, or... No problem. Alright. So there are tutorial books out there. Right? There's one by Karen. There's one by Dylan White. I think there's one or two others. And I don't personally write tutorials. Excuse me. But it's one of those things where people keep asking me for stuff, and I have the ability to make tutorials. High resolution 3D tutorials, right? Actually, what I wanted to do was start making tutorials and putting them on coffee cups, right? Like, get a coffee cup and print on it, like how to make Byzantine. I still think that's a good idea. I don't know how well they would sell, but... You're very welcome. Video game was a staple outfit. Show never had them. See, I would never know that. I've never played the Witcher video games or read the books or anything. I just enjoy the TV show. And so I never had any complaints about it because I didn't know that anything was wrong, right? Does that make sense? Which is why, like I said, I think the Rings of Power audience and the Wheel of Time audience comes from outside the people who have read the books. Yeah. But making tutorials is... I don't know. Like, I don't have any problem sharing any knowledge that I have about chainmail. I am an open book. You can ask me about anything or where I got anything. Other people are not... They don't think that way about it. It's just like the Five Nights at Freddy's I never watched that. I don't have any knowledge of what Five Nights at Freddy's is about, except some non-English babble that my son prattles on about, because he plays the game or something. Should a young child be playing that game? I have no idea. I don't know how he ever found out about it. I think maybe he just watches YouTube videos from talentless creators on YouTube, but there was a period where he was begging to go see the movie, and I'm like, no, dude, you are too little. How do you even know about this movie? And then I saw the trailer, and I was like, yeah, no, my kid got scared at Thor: Love and Thunder, okay? Which, no shame to him, okay? He comes from a long line of scaredy cats, all right? When I was 7, I got scared at Ghostbusters 2 and had to be taken home from my friend's house up the hill. My dad had to come get me. I was 7 years old, and I had to go down to my house. It was like 200 yards away, right? Because I had no, like, Ghostbusters 2 is supposed to be a comedy, but I wasn't old enough to get the jokes, and, you know, I was raised in a very sheltered religious household growing up, so I'd never seen anything like it. Whereas my friend, whose house I was at, whose, TV we were watching, he had HBO in his room. And he's only a couple weeks older than me. So, that's how you learn about Five Nights at Freddy's, from YouTube? Yeah. Like, I mean, the preview looked cool, and then a bunch of the people came out and said that the movie was terrible. And, like, it's not... I don't have a reason to go watch it at all, so... I wouldn't know. Alright, I need a drink of water. Trying to think how much I got done today. I've been working on, let's see here. I got down here about 9:30. I took a lunch break at 11:30. So 9:30 to 11:30 I worked on it. Then 11:30 to 1:30 I was taking a nap. And then from 1:30 to 3 I was working on it. And then from 4 to 5 o'clock I was working on it. And then I got back down here around 7:30, I think. So that's 2, 4, 5, 6.5 hours so far. Just this cube today. And I think I've done at least 2 layers, and each layer is 400 rings, and so I've probably done 800 rings today. Maybe a little more. Now I just got 2 more layers to go. I've got a 2013 Road King. Once I'm done with this cube, I will go and finish my saddlebags and put the saddlebags on the bike and go for a ride, because it is warming up and it is time to get some riding in. I want to get some miles in this summer because I have not ridden a lot. I didn't ride hardly at all last year. So, but I've got plenty of time. I actually talked to, I sent my resume into the local Harley dealership. I was like, I don't need to work, but it's like maybe get some extra money for rings or tattoos or crap in my Amazon wish list. Yeah. So they haven't gotten back to me, but we'll see what happens. Do I ever get hand strained when you do it for that long? Yes, absolutely. Especially if you haven't woven in a few, I don't know, days. And you start and you do, I don't know, 500, 600, 700 rings in a few hours. Yeah, you'll get lots of strain. All right. So you can see it's still a little rectangular right now. Two more layers on top and it should be near perfectly square. This thing's awesome. But for hand strain, there's a couple things. There's a lot of exercises you can do, a lot of stretches. You can get some hander bands, right? Exercise your hands. I have wrist braces that are with me at all times, pretty much. So it's like I've got too much stuff to do to take a break for an injury. So like I have to take care of my hands. But if you take good care of your hands and if you use the right pliers and you know when to stop, you shouldn't really have a problem. You should stop when you start having pain. Stretch, exercise. Get the blood flowing to those myelin sheaths surrounding your tendons and muscles in your wrists and elbows. That's where you get pain, really. Carpal tunnel pain and then like tendonitis. Use ice or heat as recommended by a professional, not me. I am just a nurse. I don't give out medical advice. Yeah, how much you need it. For the one I'm looking at right now, 12, 10,000, 10,000, 40, 40. About 1,500, if I had to guess. Without thinking about it and pricing it out, I would say 1,500. How you doing, JRAM 1998? 1998. They're fun. Everybody should have one. It's one of those things. Oh, and if you are serious about getting one, even just like a small one, this is like 5x5. Okay? If you talk to Richard Toddy here on TikTok, Astrid Wolf, or Wayward and Whimsical, also known as Mother of Dragons here on TikTok. If you talk to any of them, they take custom orders and requests and are set up to accommodate people interested in chainmail stuff. Whereas I am not doing that right now. For the most part. I have some bracelets for sale, but like I'm not doing custom stuff with those. I just have bracelets that I made that are for sale. So, and if you need those names again, just let me know. Had a lot of people asking for big old cube. It is 9 o'clock. My son needs to go to bed. What is this? Nope. I can't yell at him from here. Hopefully his mother comes in, yells at him to go to bed. Tip of the cap, how you doing? So sweet, thank you. Awesome, you'll definitely check. Yeah. Check with them, see if it's something they can hook you up with. Okay. Oh, thank you for the roses. If you guys would, please tap the screen and then share the stream. Tap the stream, share the stream, and comment something. Say hi. It helps put me back on the FYP. And since TikTok is the only place where I get seen, I would appreciate. Is it silver? No, this is bright aluminum. We got two here. One small rings and one larger rings. This one is now smaller than this one, but this one has more rings. So, all right, where are we at? I would love to make one out of silver. That would be awesome, but not right now. I'm not rich enough for that. Maybe one day. That would be one day when I am set up to to coil and cut my own rings, and I can just buy some silver wire and make the rings. It'd be cool. Just make a silver core like this, and then do the outside and some rings that are stamped with the design. That would be awesome. Or some rings made out of spiraled wire. Be one of those that you'd only need really to weld or solder the outside rings. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. Our live goal was achieved. We got dinosaurs. Thanks so much. Embossed decor wire would be cool. It would. Eh. All right. So, that is eventually the kind of stuff I want to be making. Right? Working with silver and gold, titanium and stainless steel almost exclusively. I don't have any complaints about aluminum. It's fine for most things. But if I'm going to spend the time making something this involved, right? I want it to be as high-end as I can make it, right? So, that's my goal. Finish up these projects down here in the basement, of which there are too many. And I keep making more for myself, so who knows if I'll ever get out of that cycle. But yeah, finish up the projects down here. Work on my own product lines, my own bracelets and necklaces that I like making. And then high-end art pieces is what I would really want to do. Chromium work, you got rings of it, and tungsten carbide. Would chromium work? I'm going to go with no. I think I'm not 100% sure. Tungsten carbide is going to be too difficult to work with. You have rings of it and tungsten carbide. Huh. I'm assuming you don't, like, they're solid rings, right? So if they are solid rings of tungsten carbide and solid rings of chromium, I don't know the properties of those, but you could weave them into something if they're similar enough in nature. They're like wedding bands? Is that what you're telling me? Okay. So, with, I mean, you could take a finger ring and weave it into something or, like, hang it off a necklace, right? But as far as, like, making a sheet of chainmail out of them, that's out of the question. Normally they are EDM or plasma worked. Tungsten and chromium. What is EDM? Electronic what? What's EDM stand for, John? Yeah. My understanding is that tungsten is, you know, it shatters too easily to be worked, you know, anything like what I'm doing right now. EDM's electronic discharge machining. I gotcha. EDM is also a music genre. I know the music genre. Excuse me. All right. I gotta adjust. Constantly moving around because put my foot up, my leg goes numb, put it back down, gets uncomfortable. But it's good because I don't want to be sitting in the same position for hours on end. Because then I stand up and I'm all stiff and old. And I can't move. Alright. So, this is row 12, layer 1. See how many rings we can get in. In the next, 45 minutes or so. Will it stop a bullet? Does it words. Does it distribute the energy into all the rings? So this is aluminum. If you shoot it, a bullet's most likely going to go through it, right? It is aluminum, however, and whether you make it from aluminum or steel, like anything, the larger you make it, eventually it will stop a bullet. What that point is, I have no idea. I can't imagine putting in the hours into a cube and then shooting it. I understand it would be for science, but I don't know if I could do that. It's like okay. I could see doing it if I had like 100,000 followers, right? I have almost 4,000, so I'm a long way off from that. And that's just on TikTok. I've only got a few thousand followers on other platforms. If I had 100,000 followers, like, I don't know, on every platform combined, for a combined total of 100,000, maybe Just because then enough people would see it that it possibly could go viral, which would be good for me. But butted male becomes shotgun blast point blank. If it survives, it splits the bullets to lead shrapnel. You have shot male up to 12 gauge. Yeah, but how wide do you need to make a cube before it'll stop a bullet? Right? Like, I understand a sheet of regular chainmail and how that reacts when it gets shot, but cubes will eventually stop anything you throw at it if you make them big enough. It's just a density thing. Eventually, the cube will have enough density to stop whatever you're throwing at it. But I wouldn't have any idea where that point would be. If you make a 10 by 10 by 10 cube and send it to Demo Ranch, you will make me 630 rings for it. Maybe get him to promote apparel as payment trade. 10 by 10 by 10 with 630 rings. What are you talking about? You mean it's like 6,300 rings? If you could put me in touch with Demo Ranch, if I make a cube and you put me in touch with Demo Ranch and we shoot it, and we have like this, I don't know if he has any slow-mo cameras, I'm sure he does. I know they know people who have the high-end slow-mo cameras, right? Then, oh, alloy 630 ER stainless. Gotcha. That sounds like it'll hurt my hands. Thank you for the roses. Bull of Oz, how are you tonight? Yeah, Bull of Oz. Yeah, okay. Sometimes when you read usernames, you try to pronounce them, and all that comes out is gobbledygook, because you're doing super. That's good to hear. Me too. Rad Cube, thank you. I appreciate that. It's coming along. It's almost done. 2 more layers. 800 rings. It's almost there. Excuse me. We're getting there. Little by little. Wow. I'm actually pretty sure that I could get in touch with Demo Ranch through people I'm familiar with. I don't know any of them personally, but I would assume that I've messaged with them before, so perhaps. But bigger rings a possibility for faster, bigger cube building. Yeah. As long as you have the right aspect ratio on the ring, you can use whatever ring size you want. So, I was thinking about this question earlier, right? Yeah, the gauge of wire has to go up the ring size proportionally in order to get the right aspect ratio to get the cube effect, right? Too loose and it doesn't do this, right? Too tight and it's just a rigid block and really hard to work. But someone said I should make a chair, right? And I'm thinking like a little like a little kid's chair, not like an adult chair. But it would kind of like be like a beanbag kind of looking thing. And I would definitely use a larger ring size. Some heavy duty pliers. Because this is 14,000 rings in this right here. Right? And so taking this and making it into any type of functional furniture would be insane. I would be working on that for the rest of my life, you know? Thanks for the likes, guys. All right. Come on. Which I wouldn't mind working on, you know, something that cool for the rest of my life, but also I want to make other things. Time is scarce, trade-offs must be made. I wonder if you could speed it up with large rings using the construction wire tie gun. I don't know what... I don't know how construction wire tie gun works. I've got an idea, I think. Hearthflower, you want one so bad you're going to have to learn to do this because you're poor? You came to the right place. My name's Sean. I run Mailworks.com, and in my link tree is the Mailworks app. On the Mailworks app, you will find all of the ring manufacturing suppliers that I'm aware of, where chainmail people hang out at online, and where to find tutorials, a whole bunch of other stuff. So if you want to learn, download the Mailworks app. There's a group called Chainmail in the groups forum section on the app. It's over on Facebook. And in the file section of the Chainmail group over on Facebook is the tutorial to make one of these. And if you want to know ring sizes, I've got two here. This one is 18 gauge 1/8 from chain-reaction.ca. And then this one is 16 gauge. John, is this standard wire gauge or American wire gauge? I know I asked you, but 16 gauge, the closest fractional equivalent is 11/64. John is probably working. Is the cube for sale? No, it's not. My next one will be. So I've got to finish this one, and then whatever remainder supplies I have over will go into a cube, and then that will probably be for sale. Because I don't want a cube in this ring size. I'm not opposed to it. It's a good ring size for a cube, right? Perfect. I'm working with some smaller rings. So this is my cube project. Ow, my eyeball. 8 by, yeah. $400 for an 8 by 8 by 8. I think I have something in my eye. Ow. I hope it's not in a piece of aluminum. That would be par for the course. Yeah, an 8 by 8 by 8 for $400. That makes sense. I don't. Okay. There's 16 gauge wire, American wire gauge. 16 gauge, 0.170 diameter. But the closest fractional equivalent is 11/64. I think, if I remember our conversation. So you can use those two ring sizes to make a cube. Aluminum and 8. Aluminum in 8 centimeters. Yeah, aluminum in 8 centimeters. Like 8 centimeters, like... Oh, this is inches. That's 4 inches. This is just shy of 4 inches. Oh, 2.5 inches. So it's 2.5 by 2.5 by 2.5 aluminum cube for $400. I mean, that sounds right. I'd have to see the listing to say whether or not I think that's correct, but like a lot of people, they make a core of aluminum and then they cover it in anodized aluminum to give it some color. And rings are expensive, and this is time consuming. That's one of the reasons why I stream this stuff, right? Chainmail is expensive. Not necessarily the materials or the cost of entry, but the amount of time you spend doing something is astronomical. I have projects that are 400 hours, right? Multiple. This one, I've got 40 hours into this cube so far. Yes, you absolutely have to worry about scratching the anodized rings with your tools. So, that's why these Zurons don't have any teeth, right? Not that that stops all scratches, but it definitely prevents a lot of them. I have never anodized anything. I have in my Amazon cart the electronic device with which I will use to anodize titanium in distilled water filled with sodium bicarbonate. But I haven't purchased it yet. And I will this year. It's my goal to have that set up here in the house this year. Yeah, I've got a titanium cube already made. It's 8-2 cube, ready to be anodized, and I could make, whatever color I want. Can you alternate split rings and solid rings to build a cube? Yes, as long as they have the right aspect ratio. You could do that. But yeah, anodizing, coiling and cutting. I've got a welder already, and riveting. So, anodizing, riveting, and coiling and cutting. All those setups are going to be hopefully here in my basement by the end of the year. And hopefully all the projects that are right there on my table, hopefully they're done by the end of the year. So, you anodize your titanium framing hammer? Right on. Yeah, I will actually probably... I've got 2 titanium objects. One is a dice bag, one is a cube that I will anodize. I'll do it live on stream. It's one of those things that I just, haven't had the money to get set up. I am getting some tax money back, but I've got some debt that I need to pay off. That's the priority. But by the end of this year, I should have everything set up. I put off coiling and cutting my own rings for a long time, but the specificity with which I want my rings to have, it's expensive to get them from anyone else. And so couple more tumblers, coiling and cutting setup, and I will have a fine production system for the rings that I want to make. So that I can make the projects that I want to make, so that I can afford to make the projects I want to make. I'll get there. I made rings. I made my own rings when I first started out, and they were galvanized steel rings cut with some little miniature bolt cutters, and they worked. I made a shirt out of them, but the ends were constantly kind of mangled and crappy, and there's no polish to it. The shirt itself smells, looks like crap. I've been convinced that this summer I should do some more work on it, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. You did your hammer with just hot wires? You don't recommend it? Like to a car battery or... or a 9-volt battery or something like that? Have I ever made a giant cube? I don't know how much more giant you can get than what I'm making right now. I mean, most people never make a cube this large. The number of cubes that are this large, or even this large, I don't know, like, what you mean by giant. These are... about as big as you'll see. Are my split rings at 90 degrees or like beveled? Okay, so split rings are like key rings, and these are called butted rings. And if you're asking, the cut on them is at 90 degrees. Or as close as you can make it. Oh, you used old extension cords? I gotcha. I see why that's sketchy. You put the rings in a tumbler to polish them. Yes. So I have a Franklin Arsenal rotary tumbler. And it works really well. It's for polishing brass, for reloading, bullets. And it works perfect for polishing up rings, whether it's stainless, silver, aluminum, titanium. And I probably get one more, because not all ring manufacturers are created equal. And if you're making rings at home, you will also need a tumbler, because when you're cutting a ring, you're dropping coolant down onto a blade to keep it cool, so that as it cuts through, it doesn't get hot and shatter, right? Thank you, Artflower. And so the rings are going to be all dirty. You can rinse them off, but you need to rinse them off in like hot soapy water. Put them in a tumbler. And usually the rings bumping up against each other, they will polish themselves. But there are like ceramic media and other stainless steel media to help polish up like finished pieces and stuff. Big Excel Energy. Saw one of your videos and you have literally never wanted to know what something felt like so much. I don't know, they're fun. You're very welcome. If you have any questions, I am an open book. I will tell you everything I know. I might even have secrets that will lead to the arrest of Hillary Clinton. Oh no! No, I'm just kidding. There's nobody there. I'm not going to be assassinated tonight. Bro, keychain rings would take forever? Yes, they do. That will be what sound I make forever once you make one. Yeah, just this. Where am I at here? Yeah, they're fun. They are. How you doing, Steampunk Cat? All right. Oh, thank you for the follow. There it is. So, yeah, they get even more fun when you add color to them. And if I ever make one out of titanium and anodize it, like I have the 8. Let me show you. Hang on a sec. Oh, my foot. Okay. So I made this out of titanium. It doesn't have quite that nice jingly sound, and it's rigid, right? Like it's a brick. Okay. Once I anodize it, it'll have some color, and it will sit on my shelf for forever, and it'll be cool, but I would like a titanium one similar to this that I can anodize. Right? Pretty good. Just finished shoveling 15 inches of snow. Well, I'm glad you're done with that. I hate shoveling snow. That is the worst. Let's knock on real wood. All right. I live inside your floorboards. When did I start to make these? So this one I started last week. And this one I started last year. And I ran out of rings, I don't know, not that long ago, but a while ago. You love shoveling snow? You live in New Hampshire? Well, come to Wisconsin. You can shovel all the snow that I get to your heart's content. It's like I have a snowblower, but I don't like going outside when it's less than 65 degrees. And when it's cold enough to get snow, I really don't like going outside. Me and snow are not friends. I have never done a jelly pyramid. Right, to do that, parts of the... Like, you'd have to build it in, like, stairs, right? And it wouldn't be connected, and I don't know how much of this effect you would get. I haven't had a chance to ever... You like it? You're bored, so you'll do it tomorrow too? Well, good luck with that, and may your shoveling be mighty, and may you get done quickly. Titanium is more expensive than aluminum. I don't know if it's a lot more. So, but yeah, jelly pyramids or jelly spheres. I don't think I've seen anyone do it. Not that it can't be done, but I don't think it would behave the same just because it would just look like it fell apart more. It would be really loose, I think, if I had to guess how it behaved. So, but yeah, so bright aluminum's pretty cheap. It's a good material to use. You can open and close aluminum a lot before it like snaps, becomes brittle and snaps. It tarnishes, but it's not overnight like brass, bronze, or copper. So aluminum, silver, and stainless steel. Silver's obviously more expensive than all of them, but you can open and close them pretty much all day long. Or at least multiple times before they break. and they're not so expensive that you can't afford them. They're good materials to work with, right? They don't tarnish too easily. They clean up easily. That's why I like them. Anytime you're getting something anodized, that's going to be more expensive, right? So anodized niobium is as expensive as sterling silver. Anodized titanium, you know, it's another step in the manufacturing process and just makes it more expensive. Whether you're working with rings or scales. So that's why I'm building my setup at home to do all the anodizing. I don't like making stuff out of aluminum. Out of anodized aluminum, right? Plenty of people make like costume jewelry and stuff out of anodized aluminum. It comes in a lot of colors. You can get the whole rainbow spectrum out of anodized aluminum. You can make some wonderfully colorful stuff, right? But two things. I'm terrible with colors. Not that, you know, I'm colorblind or anything, but I'm like color deaf, right? I don't know how to use color. Okay? So I stay away from it for that reason. And then the other reason is anodized aluminum on non-static pieces is going to rub off. It's going to fade. It's going to, you know, the color is going to dim over time. Right? So I will make inlays out of it, you know, big pictures. But I'm not going to be making any jewelry out of it anytime soon. And that's not to talk bad about the people who do use it for like costume jewelry and stuff. Okay, because it takes a while for the anodization to rub off. But the reality is that if I'm going to put energy into a piece, I want it to last the way I make it for as long as possible. So that's why I'm moving towards only using certain materials. And doing anodization in-house because, yeah, it's going to fade eventually, but I've had problems with other people and their anodized rings, and I want to be responsible for that anodization failing so that I can fix it if I need to. Let the folks that would knee-jerk about AA being used for costume. Some of these folks think it's high class still. Yeah. And, you know, whatever. To each their own. I am not any kind of authority in the chainmail community. Or... You know, the only authority I am is in my kid's life. And that's because if he doesn't do what he's told, I will throw one of these at his head. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that. They don't leave a bruise. No, they do. They do. Don't throw these at your children. Yeah, well, I made part of the elbow rests. Hang on, I'll show you. Let me get this ring out of my hand here. I had a structured settlement and I need cash now. No, I had some as seen on TV armrests from this comes off. Wow, it's really stuck on there. Okay, comes in two pieces. And the foam pad that was on the top started rubbing off. So I got some leather. I kind of cut it to size, and I had this leather stamp that does a chainmail pattern. So I stamped that into here, glued the armrests on, and it kind of came out okay. It kind of works. And they're kind of useful. Thank you. They are, you know, it's one of those things where it's like I made them because I can kind of thing. I don't really need armrests with this desk, but it props my elbows up a little bit. It's kind of nice. Sometimes they get in the way, but... yeah, come on. I've got... I think I was talking about this last night, but so I stamped the leather and then I put antiquing on top of it, right? And I have a hat that I need to make a hat band for, and I bought some leather to make a strip out of. I'm going to stamp it with the same chainmail stamp, but I saw someone working on a leather project, and they painted it silver, right? And then they antiqued over the top of it, which when I was at the Tandy leather shop, they said that probably wouldn't work, but then I watched someone do it, so now I got to go back to the Tandy leather shop and buy some silver leather paint. And you say, why are you going to travel 45 minutes to the Tandy leather shop just to go buy some silver paint? Why don't you just order it online? Because I like to be irresponsible at the leather store and spend too much money. Ergonomics are so important for artists, though. So many hours working. Yes. 100%. Which is why I definitely recommend making sure that, you know, if you are interested in making a lot of chainmail, invest heavily into good pliers. Every bit helps with... You love Tandy? Yeah. I love spending money there. I wouldn't say that I love them, but I love spending way too much money there. I bought 2 hides when I was there last time, and like I don't do a lot of leather work because I'm bad at it. I need to practice more, and I would be better. But I had a hide of leather that probably I didn't use much off of it. It probably took me 15 years to go through it, right? And I just bought another one, and the amount of leather I already have planned to use off of it will take up most of it. And then the other hide of leather I bought, I've cut several pieces out of and used a lot of that up already. So, and I still have 2 more projects to make with that. So we'll see how much I have left when I'm done. It's all for the motorcycle project that I'm going to get back to working on as soon as I finish this cube. You make old-timey Appalachian brooms? Right on. Like, if you were to read the phrase, "She swept the hearth as she waited for her man to come home." Like the broom I picture her sweeping the hearth with, is that an old-timey Appalachian broom? These cubes are amazing. Thank you. They're super fun. I wish I could make one for everyone, but sadly, that is not possible. I am not set up for it, and I don't have the time. Yes, that's the kind of broom. Okay. Right on. I've seen some people make those kinds of brooms before. I don't know how yours compare. You know, I don't know if what I was looking at was a good old-timey broom or not. But like we're talking about a broom that if a witch was riding it, it would look appropriate, right? I'm assuming that that's what we're talking about. So I have seen those. But like at, what do you call it? The balloon store, the costume store, Party City. Do I mean a besom? I don't know what a besom is. A round broom? Yeah. Yeah, do you make round brooms or do you make like flat, thin brooms? A brass cube would be awesome. I've made a brass cube that interlocks with a bronze cube. It's pretty cool. Problem with brass, don't get me wrong, brass can be a lot of fun. You can make a lot of cool stuff with it, and it's fairly easy to clean. The issue is if you touch it, it tarnishes, like, immediately. Same with bronze, same with copper. Silver takes a little bit longer. So I have moved away from brass and bronze. I won't be ordering anymore. I don't have any plans on working with them. Someone posted in one of the chainmail groups, they were like, I got a chance to work with some Nugold, Nugold. A witch's broom is a besom. You make tons of them and a bunch of other types, but they're all ornate. Right on, that's cool. Yeah, someone was working with Nugold, Nugold, and it's just jeweler's brass that is supposed to stay shinier longer, but it doesn't. So, but yeah. Would you like to see my interlocking brass and bronze cube? Do you want to see my stuff? I'll have to get up and go get it. Give me a sec. Stop scraping up the rings, man. Jeez. Oh, wow. Ruined that ring. Do I have any advice on how to keep metals from tarnishing? Yeah, hang on. So, I ran out of rings, so this is a bronze corner. Right? But that is my interlocking brass and bronze cube. You can see there. If you look, yeah. If you look down in there, you can see the bronze cube. If you look in there, you can see the brass cube. Right? And this is just something I did to use up the rings to get them out of the way. Art of Show and Tell is your favorite? Right on. If we started that, we'd be here for another hour. Armrest, you worked your family's jewelry branch for 20 years, never had that, not sure you ever needed it. I'm not sure I needed them either. I grabbed them. They're like the as seen on TV armrests, and then I redid the tops of them because the old foam tops were coming off. They're handy sometimes. Fingers and hands. It's really the hands and fingers. What's going on, Jeep and Jammer? New gold is just old world Nordic gold. Brass with a 15% or more aluminum added. Makes it more rigid but crumbles more at temp. Oh, interesting. I did not know that. So, yeah, there's lots of different things you can do with cubes. You don't just have to make cubes. You can make interlocking ones like this. Someone named Razmataz here on TikTok had a infinity cube that she made where she stacked eight little cubes and connected the right corners, and they all flipped over like this infinity cube children's toy that I remember having as a kid. And yeah, I want to expand on this idea and go at least 4 interlocking cubes, right? And I'll get there eventually, maybe one day. I don't want to do it out of brass or bronze, but I do want to make it out of 2 different materials. Probably blackened titanium and stainless. I think that would be a cool project. One of the projects I have in mind for when I get all the projects down here done and out of the way, and then has anyone ever told me that I sound like a Chris Pratt? No, no one's ever told me that I sound like Chris Pratt. How are you, Smoking Barrel? Where's Gamora? Who's Gamora? Why is Gamora? It's the only Chris Pratt line I know. I should go talk to him and see if he thinks if I sound like him, and then like become his body double. All right, I'm gonna finish this up. Finish this row up. All right, just got blinded by a flashlight at Costco and was like, neat, so you bought it? You were impressed, turned it on in the house with the lights off and it looked like daylight. Oh, this flashlight blinded me. Sold! Sure, but it's not common. We all have had hand and finger issues 10 hours a day for 20 years. Okay, what is going on here? Southern Marine Tech, what are you... So, like, you don't like that I have armrests? Is that... Like, I don't know. I'm not doing as much detailed work as an actual jeweler. I don't have no gems to set. I do want... what is that? It's a little milling machine that like takes wire down a little bit to make it like rings for bands. I do want one of those. I forget what it's called. But yeah, no, I don't have any jewelry skills as far as traditional jewelry making goes. So I don't, I don't know. I'm not at a jeweler's bench. I'm at a conventional IKEA desk. So, but if anyone is interested in learning how to make chainmail, you want to get started, go to the link tree in my bio. You can download the Mailworks app. It's free. It's got all the resources I would have ever wanted when I first got started making chainmail 28 years ago. And in there you will find, if you want to buy chainmail, there's an artist section in there that you can go to, and most of those people take requests and do custom work, right? So if you want to get started, download the app. If you want to buy chainmail, go check out the artist section on there. And if you want to support me, you can go to my website, which is just myusername.com, and get cool stuff like this hooded blanket and other cool stuff. This is actually chainmail background with a jelly cube on it, and it's super warm, so that one's fun. So get yourself one of those. And how much for a basketball hoop? That is the second basketball hoop request I've come up with, and it's not like you can do it. Donald Cooley, what are you doing, man? How's it going, buddy? You can do a basketball hoop. It'd just be cheaper to go buy one, buy a metal one. So, but it is 10 o'clock. I do have to get up, take my kid to school tomorrow. Hey, me too, buddy. Right on. Congratulations. So, like I said, if you want to support me, go to my website, get yourself something nice. Pay attention. I do post a lot of items of the day. And if you want to get some chainmail or learn how to make chainmail, download the Mailworks app, and that would be my recommended first step. All right, so you all have a wonderful evening. Where are we at here? Okay, and I'm usually on 8:30 to 10 most nights of the week. I was off for a while because I got real sick, but we're back. We're working, and we're good to go. All right, so you all have a wonderful evening. I will talk to you all later. Have a good night. Bye. All right. Byzantine web, double lengths of the web sections. Don't do that. Okay. All right, and for John and Cheap and Jamber, Byzantine web, double the length of the web sections. Yeah, I mean, you can make a basketball hoop out of chainmail, but just go buy one. It's be cheaper. I don't know why people are asking for that. Mostly because I don't want to make it. It's like, yeah, I can make one. I don't want to. It's like, the scrub pads? People, when I posted this, the video of this, right? Charging $500 for them. I don't want to make them, okay? Okay. When I posted the video of this jelly cube, and I'll tell you too, because you're the only ones watching right now. Everyone was like, oh, but not everyone. A couple people were like, oh, you could use that to scrub cast iron pans. And I'm like, yeah, I just put, 40, 50, 60 hours into a project to go scrub my fucking dishes with it, right? No. If I made this for someone and I saw them scrubbing their dishes with it, I would beat them, okay? Like, I'm trying to shill the cast iron scrubbing pads, the cheap ones that they sell on the TikTok shop or whatever, right? I've started the steps for that or something. I picked something out. I pressed a button to try and add those to my TikTok shop. I don't know what it's doing now, but anyway, I hate the idea of making a piece of chainmail and using it to clean your dishes. That's not what chainmail's for, right? It's so much cooler than that. Anyway, it's not the only thing that bothers me that people do with chainmail, but people are free to do what they want. It's free country. It's just, I'm not going to make a basketball hoop, and I'm not going to make a scrub pad. I've made 2 scrub pads, and they're cool, but Like, that's it. That's all I'm ever going to make. I don't even use mine to scrub dishes with. You need a weed burner or a kiln to bake it clean, then sonic clean it twice? Yeah. Like, you scrub your cast iron and then you never get the food particles out. And then people have the audacity to challenge me on that statement. It's like, no. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm going to take my advice on this and not clean fucking food off with it. Anyway, I've got to get going, guys. You two rock. You have a good night. I will see you all later. Bye. Fondling. Oh, fondling is good cleaning. You'd be irked to see your effort used to clean. Yeah, fuck that. All right.